In this lesson, we'll take a closer look at Australopithecus, afarensis, and see how it actually isn't a transitional slash intermediate fossil. Australopithecus afarensis is claimed to be an intermediate between apes and humans. However, it's actually just an ape. Its recognized ape-like parts are its arms, its rib cage, and its head. Its claimed human parts are its pelvis and legs. Looking at its pelvis, it's clearly sized for newborn chimps, not newborn humans. And when it comes to the most famous Australopithecus afarensis fossil, known to most as Lucy, only 3 broken up pieces of the pelvis were actually found, and they only fit together like a human pelvis after being cut up and reshaped and refit together. So really after undergoing a fair amount of manipulation did it actually become shaped like a human pelvis. Also, it was wrongly identified as female initially and is now actually known to be male. Even though for humans and apes, it's pretty easy to tell which is the male and which is the female skeleton based on the pelvis. But when you only got 3 really broken up pieces, then hey. And with it now being known as a male, truly, this is why to some it's also known as Lucifer. Really. Looking at the legs, all of the feet that was found was an incomplete heel and a metatarsal, highlighted in green in the picture. And of the metatarsal that was found, it was not very curved like ours, but that's because it's the 4th one. It was of the metatarsals that's the least curved. And it was still curved though. Still definitely curved. Also, there's great debate amongst macroevolutionists about really how human the leg and foot bones are. Many say that they're essentially the same, or at least incredibly similar, to those of chimps. I wonder why. Probably because they're just chimp bones. And when it comes to foot macroevolution overall and ape to man macroevolution, it violates the principle of natura non facit saltus, English nature makes no leaps, if it goes straight from the ape to the human foot, which an intermediate between the two has never been found. And no matter what, it violates the principle of correlation of parts, because if the lower half is all human parts, especially the feet, but the upper half is all ape parts, then it would just fall over because you have a top-heavy creature. And this is true for all genuine macroevolution transitional slash intermediates, that it would violate the principle of correlation of parts, as said in the opening lesson to this series. Also, for us Christians, there's some major theological problems. Because when it comes to ape to man intermediates, you must ask, at what point in the macroevolutionary sequence did human beings truly come into existence made in God's image with unique value? Like, when does Genesis 9:6, which says, whoever sheds the blood of man, by man's blood shall his be shed, for man is made in God's image, at what point in the sequence does this apply? Also, at what point did the members of the population become sinful in need of salvation? At what side of the sequence are the organisms then, the species then in need of salvation? And what species in the sequence did Christ die for? Did Christ die for Neanderthal? Did Christ die? If Australopithecus afarensis is perfectly in the middle, did Christ die for them too? Lot of unanswered questions that really need to be considered. Because there's more than just natural science. There's also theology.